What's up guys, Chris here. And with me on today's video, I've got the all-new 2022 iPad Air, which is designed with the M1 chip inside. Now I got this along with the Smart Folio a few days ago, and I'm going to be unboxing and talking about it in today's video. This 2022 model, powered by Apple's M1 chip, the squared off design, and the fact that it comes in blue made me decide to pull the trigger and buy this year's version of the iPad Air. So stay tuned and we'll go ahead and check this thing out. Okay, so in standard format, we'll go ahead and unbox this to see what the all-new iPad Air looks like. And as you can see, it comes in Apple's standard recycled packaging material, which is easy to remove. So you simply just need to pull on this tab all the way around, and it'll allow you to take off this plastic. Okay, we'll go ahead and lift off the top. You know, I always imagined this iPad Air would be just a little bit bigger. It is just as thin as I expected, which is nice, but I thought it would be a little bit bigger. Right now, it's just a little bit bigger than my iPad mini. So let's go ahead and remove the plastic covering. And I like this blue color on the back. It's this metallic blue looking color, which is always a nice color to look. It's super sleek. So again, this iPad Air is 11 inches and it does have a nice blue metallic color to it. I like the reflective mirror finish on the Apple logo itself. It's got the single camera at the top. It's got the, I guess that's a speaker. Okay, so as you can see, this is not fingerprint proof because I've already got a number of fingerprints on it. It is very thin, so that's very nice, and it's very lightweight as well. Okay, so we'll put that aside. Okay, in addition to that, you've got your manuals and two stickers. So you've got the easy instructions that tell you what's on the iPad Air and just your standard reading material. And I do like the fact that it does come with two stickers. However, I've never really found a use for these stickers, but they're just nice to have. Okay, in addition to that, you get a power brick, which is USB-C. And then you get your USB-C to USB-C charging cable, which plugs into this brick. And other than that, that's about it. Very minimalistic. So let's put this aside, and then let's look at the Smart Folio, because I'm gonna need something to keep me from making all these fingerprints on it. Okay, so the folio itself just pulls right out. And it too is this pretty cool dark deep blue color, which is pretty nice, and felt layer, and it is magnetized. So all you have to do is place the iPad Air on it, and it should just magnetize in place. So see, it just locks in place. So all in all, it's got this non-stick rubber-like matte feeling to the cover itself. And then it allows you to convert it to a standable. So this is an 11-inch tablet, and I guess has the same dimensions of the previous iPad Air. From a features perspective, again, this iPad Air has the single camera on the back. It's also got USB-C charging and power at the bottom, as well as a Touch ID fingerprint reader at the top, which is something that I actually like about my iPad mini, and now I'm glad it's also on the iPad Air. This also serves as a power button to turn the device on and off, as well as put it to sleep. The screen on this iPad Air is a 60 Hz display, and it's running iPad OS just like every other iPad. From a pricing perspective, this tablet starts at $599 and it goes up incrementally based on the specs. Now I myself will just be using this iPad for watching YouTube, streaming movies, maybe checking email once in a while, and really just doing basic tasks. So I didn't upgrade this to the 256 gig version. Now I don't plan on saving or storing much on this iPad, so I think 64 gigs is just perfect for me for viewing media. Now what's funny is, unlike the iPad Pro and the other tablets, there is no 128 gig version of this tablet, which is generally enough for me in the size that I generally buy. However, since they didn't have it, I went for the 64 gig rather than the full-on out 256 gig version. In addition to that, another upgrade I didn't do is get the cellular version, because I pretty much have wireless access anywhere I go anyways, thanks to my phone and access points just all over the place. Because I also have the iPad mini, I did not get an additional pencil, because I figured I could just use my existing pencil with this device as well. Now what's good about this iPad Air is that it essentially replaces the more expensive iPad Pro, which costs about $200 more. So in essence, I'm getting the same machine, the same performance, and the benefit of a thinner bezel versus the iPad Pro, which is more expensive. Now the biggest difference between the iPad Pro, which my wife has, and this iPad Air is that the Pro does have the 120Hz ProMotion refresh. It's also got the extra 10 megapixel ultra-wide camera with LiDAR and a flash. But aside from that, essentially everything else on this iPad Air is now the same as the iPad Pro. Now at 60 Hz, the visuals and the display on the iPad Air is still pretty smooth, and most people won't even see the difference between this and the Pro unless you put them side by side, which even then you might not even see the difference. In fact, shifting screens and scrolling is just as smooth and responsive, and I think the image quality is still just as good. Now another key update and a feature that's included in this iPad Air is the ultra-wide front-facing selfie camera, which also includes center stage. This is a feature that allows the camera to follow you around so that you're always in frame and the focus when doing any kind of video call. Now other accessories when you're buying this iPad Air that you have the option to buy as well are the Magic Keyboard for this iPad Air or the Smart Keyboard as well. Now both of these keyboards are pretty nice, although I don't have them with me and decided not to splurge on those expenses. Basically what you can do is connect both of those keyboards magnetically to this iPad and turn them into a laptop essentially. Now at $599, I do think that this is a little expensive. However, because it does do a lot of the things that the iPad Pro does, I think it's a more reasonable price than paying the more expensive price for the iPad Pro. Now when setting it up, you go through your standard Apple setup procedures. You select your language, register your Apple ID, transfer over your apps and files, and pretty much anything that you usually do when you're setting up your Apple products. For me, this iPad Air is powerful enough to play all of my favorite games, stream all of my favorite movies, make FaceTime calls if I need to, and even powerful enough to maybe edit some smaller videos for my YouTube channel. Now this being my first iPad Air, I do absolutely love how light and thin this is, and especially the color itself. My initial impression of this is that it's super sleek and powerful, and it works just as good as my wife's more expensive iPad Pro. And since I'm not as much of a power user as her, this suits my needs just fine. And the best part of it all is that it's cheaper. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this short unboxing and review of the 2022 iPad Air. Please take some time to smash that like button and subscribe so you can help me out with that YouTube algorithm. Now that this thing is out, if you have one, let me know what you think about it in the comments section below. And finally, on your way out, make sure you ring that bell icon to get notified when I post new content. Until next time, see ya.